Shalom Akyam. We'd like to turn to the east and give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. We'd like to proceed this lesson with giving double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who do rule and teach well, man. And this truth consists of, the 12 tribes of Israel, which are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. Without further ado, we want to go into the book of Isaiah, chapter 33, verse 6, and it reads, "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure." And it says right here, "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times." What times are we coming into? It's going to be a time of destruction, a time of famine, pestilence, all hell on earth, man. All hell is about to break loose on earth. Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7, man. There's going to be a time like there's never has been ever in the whole world,
Yep, and so with us knowing that information, having that information, anybody, that would have some type of righteousness or some type of, prudence about them, you would try to gain as much knowledge, oil in your lamp, that you possibly could, so that when that dark time does come, you have enough oil in your lamp to basically shine on that hill, as the book of Matthew says, man. All right, you don't want to be, one of them brothers who, when you get put in certain situations, because every single last one of us is going to be put in a situation to where not only your faith is going to be tried, but also what you've been learning. All right, what you've been learning, you're going to have to put, you basically going to have to apply all of that, when, when the Lord brings that ultimate test, man. The brother, before the brother had started this lesson, he was going into, the guillotines and the FEMA camps and things of that nature. So when you in a particular situation, you're going to need to know what the Lord said to do, certain examples that the Lord has set up, throughout our forefathers' testimonies. You're going to need knowledge of those things so that you'll know how to move and operate in those dark times, man. But you got it, bro.
Khan, like the brother said, hey, I'm going to read the book of Matthew chapter 25, verse 1. "Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them." And to break down verse 3, I'm going to read it again. "They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them." And this is going, basically with these people who know they're Israelites, but, they aren't taking in the oil with them, man. They're just living, they're telling people the Israelites this and that, but, hey, they're not doing no works, man.
You can even apply this to niggas in the world, man.
Khan.
Because niggas in the world are going to come looking for your oil, and looking for that wisdom too. Amos the 8th chapter. Because then the gig is going to be up. Everybody going to know at that time that God is behind all this work and shit. All right, and everything that we've been telling you was the truth. So once the realization, comes to that, people gonna be seeking that oil, right? Seeking that light, but you no longer gonna have access to it. This is why you gain the knowledge that you can now, so that you don't be one of them spirits running around, with your head cut off, just not knowing what's going on. Because believe you me, when Jake is gonna be put in these situations, Jake is not gonna know what the fuck to do, and Jake is gonna bow down. Tuck they tail. Jake is gonna be making all type of emotional, carnal decisions, which are decisions that we not gonna be able to make in that time. The Lord is gonna have to guide our steps, but again, going back to the oil, right? You got to be a part of them 5 wise virgins, right? So that you be able to just operate, during the time of Jacob's trouble. Like, for an example, you may be out in the wilderness. You gonna have certain niggas that know that, or that don't know that certain things are unlawful to eat. Why? Because they not studied up in the law like that. All right, not saying that the law is gonna deliver you, but the point being is that you got Jakes that don't read enough. They may just know about not eating pork, not eating shrimp, crab, lobster, you know, not shaving your head bald. They may know things like that, right? But there's certain things that are missing, right, that are gonna basically play a role on Jake's walk in the kingdom of heaven. Why? Because you didn't fill your oil up a lamp. You got a little bit of oil in it, but that shit's not full enough to basically carry you throughout the night, which is that dark time. All right, so Jake is gonna be put in a situation like a FEMA camp. Niggas know, or niggas have been taught, or have heard about it some way, shape, or form that the MOTB is the C-HIP, but they gonna go in that motherfucker, and since you've been watching all these camps, you know, learning all these doctrines, you gonna go in there, you not gonna know what to do, because you heard from ISUPK that it was white women, you heard from IUIC that it was sin, then you hearing from GMS, which is the truth, by the way, right, that it's the C-HIP. So then when you get in there, you're not gonna know what to do. You know what I mean? You're not gonna know what to do, because you confused. You ain't got no oil in your damn lamp, man. And trust me, you gonna wish that you gonna wish that you had the wisdom when you put in the goddamn concentration camp and that guillotine is waiting for you, and you got to make a conscious decision on if you're gonna go take it or if not. Damn, if I take it, is the Lord gonna destroy me? This is shit that should be a no-brainer to Jake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But go ahead, bro. You got it.
Yeah, like, you know, the brother was saying, man, you know, where's your where are you getting your wisdom and knowledge from, man? You know, is it gonna, like the brother said, you're only gonna have like a third of your oil lantern, you know, I'm gonna just put it at that, not even halfway full, and you're gonna be halfway through Jacob Cho, and that shit's gonna run out because you don't know what to do, man. You know, I'm gonna read verse 4. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. You know, and who's the wise? You know, the brothers who are, you know, who follow the, hey, I'm gonna just put it like this, the brothers who are following the GMS doctrine, man, because they have 100% truth. You know, the brothers are going to know, hey, we're going to have the faith to go through the wilderness and believe that, hey, a raven or a lion is going to bring us some food, man. We're not going to be worried about little shit like that, you know?
Right. A lion can, you know what I'm saying, bring a deer right to you or some shit. You know what I mean? Ain't no telling what the Lord can happen. But again, little things like that, you got to have knowledge of. Because then when you get put in a dire situation, you got dumbass niggas that say shit like, is faith gonna fill up my water bottle? You absolutely right. In Jacob's trouble, faith gonna fill up your motherfucking water bottle. You know what I mean? Ain't no telling what the Lord will have, you know what I'm saying, happen. You know, Jake reads about the book of Exodus. See the Lord rock. Water came out of this damn big ass rock. Hundreds of gallons or hundreds of thousands of gallons of water came out of that rock. But you're gonna have Jake that ain't read testimonies like Exodus and things of that nature. So then you're going to go on some faithless shit. You're going to go on some faithless shit thinking that, you know, your canned goods is what's going to carry you. You boarding up the house is going to carry you throughout Jacob's trouble. And it's just not going to work, man. All right, I want to grab this. This is the book of Matthew 5:14. It says, ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and give light. And it giveth light unto all that are in the house. And the point that I wanted to get, it's like, I want to grab this. Verse 16, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. And of course, we ultimately doing that right now. All right, we're ultimately letting that light shine, and, you know, shining it before men so they can see the good works that we're doing, which is, you know, laboring in the ministry. But that light is ultimately going to shine in Jacob's trouble, because wisdom, when the brother has wisdom through the Spirit, he shines, bro. Like when Moses had came down from Mount Sinai after he had received the wisdom, Jake said that his face was glowing, man. You know what I'm saying? Because he had just received the wisdom. Brothers is going to be glowing through the Spirit, right? We're going to be shining in Jacob's trouble, because just imagine, you know, everything that's going on, you're not even tripping. It's going to be something distinct about you while everybody else bugging out, because you have that light, you have that oil in your candle, in your lantern, so to speak, man. You got it, bro.
Yeah, you have that knowledge. You're gonna be able to know what what to do and what not to do. You know, hey, am I gonna go take this chip? You know, hey, woe to them that go to Egypt for help. Roughly paraphrasing, man.
Exactly. We gotta know certain things.
You know, because a lot of people don't know that, man. So if you go get help from, you know, the so-called white man, which is Esau, Edom, you know, their biblical nationality, you know, hey, ultimately it's a trap, man. It's a snare that he set up to have you under his beast system, man.
Yep.
You know, and this, I'm gonna read verse 5. While the bridegroom tarried, and this is talking about Yahushua coming, man, they all slumbered and slept, man. And this is talking about the wise, the 5 of them that were foolish, man. You know, they're not gonna, you know, these people, you know, are doing whatever they want to do. You know, they're not, you know, trying to get their knowledge and wisdom through the scriptures, man. And ultimately, they're not going to the right, you know, to the right camps. Source, Khan, They're not going to the right sources to get, you know, that oil, man. Because we know through faith that GMS has 100% truth, man. And they have the 100% truth for us to get the wisdom and knowledge for the times coming, man.
Yeah, because I wanted to say something to add to that. Yeah, like the brother was saying, we do have the 100% truth. The Lord wasn't going to set us up. With this time being as dangerous as the fuck it is, you think the Lord was really going to set us up with 35% of the truth, half the truth? Like, we need to know how to operate when this shit goes down. You think the Lord's going to have us out here just clueless? Not knowing what certain things are, not knowing what not knowing what his names are? Jake B, you know what I'm saying? Scriptures say that meaner to see about our own opinion. That's your own opinion when it comes to that type of shit. You know what I mean? Because the scriptures say that he that worship me must worship me in truth. Which means what? That there is a 100% truth out there. Yahushua ain't come back and give the disciples half of the knowledge. No, he broke it down. He was breaking down the parables to them. Speaking in parables to everybody else, but the disciples knew what Yahushua was talking about. You know what I mean? But I think I got something I want to grab real quick.
Go ahead,
This is Matthew 24:46. It says, "Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing." All right. Of course, when Yahushua, you know, makes his second appearing, but the day of the Lord is also known as Jacob's trouble. All right. So before that time, you want to be one of them souls who are found so doing the will of the Lord, man. You know what I mean? You don't want to go into Jacob's trouble, not being on your shit. You know, in other words, you just slacking, missing camp, not doing your lessons, not praying, you know, not reading. You know, reading is more important than what Jake's even realized, man. You know, Revelations 1 and 3, the Lord has said that blessed is he that readeth. Blessed is he that readeth. Why? Look at the times we in, bro. You will be stupid not to dig in these scriptures and get built up as much as you can. I remember when I first came into the truth, I was hearing about shit hitting the fan and you gonna need the knowledge and you gonna, you know, all that. And I remember that shit used to have me spooked. I used to fast times where it'd be 3 times in a week. I'm talking about a dry fast, dry 24-hour fast. I'll fast sometimes 3 times a week, praying to the Lord that he bless me with enough wisdom so that I can make it through Jacob's trouble. Right? Because Jake thinking that you just gonna go in that motherfucker and you just gonna have your way, and especially not knowing, not having this oil, you gonna get a rude awakening, bro. Especially when you think the Lord can be testing your ass. A lot of Jake don't know what that testing is about. You know what I'm saying? They haven't been through those trials and tribulations. And a lot of Jake don't know what that testing is about. So Jake probably gonna be looking for some instant gratification in Jacob's trouble the whole time. The Lord is gonna be testing your ass. But you're not gonna know that if you're not reading. Go ahead. It's the book of 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15, and it reads, "Study to show thyself approved unto Yahweh, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth," man. Study to show thyself approved. You want to be approved when it comes to that time. Like you don't want to be. Of course, it matters now. You know, Jake should be getting built up to take their ass to the hedges, do these lessons. But you want to be approved when there ain't no way around you needing to depend on the Lord, man. You want to be approved, you know what I'm saying? Because the Lord is gonna know if Jake was you know, Jake was doing the works or not, bro. All right, you got Jake out there, you can fool men and shit. You know, you may look good on the outside, but the whole time, bro, you got Jake out there that don't be studying for shit. Jake out there that don't be reading for shit. You know what I'm saying? Niggas just watch debates. You watching people get cut and shit. None of that shit matters, bro. All right, if you not putting that oil in your lamp, man, the Lord is gonna take your candlestick from you. He's searching Jerusalem with candlesticks now. Judgment gonna begin at the house of the Most High. It's gonna begin at Jake that know that Jake. And the Lord is gonna be blowing out a lot of Jake candlesticks, bro.
I got this. Sirach chapter 23, verse 19. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahshai, are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret parts, man. You think you hiding, you know what? You know, you think, you know, you're hiding whatever you're doing, but hey, the Lord's seeing what the fuck. If He's seeing if you're accumulating your oil, or if you're just doing worldly shit, man.
Yeah, because the Lord has an angel right there recording everything your ass is doing. Everything that you. Why you think 2 Corinthians 16 say that your sins shall be your accusers in that day? Because the Lord got every man. How Esau on the left hand side got cameras every goddamn where. This man got drones and shit. He able to see whatever the fuck you do. Got cameras in your phones. He watching you. What you think the Most High can do? The Most High got an angel right up there right now.
Right by us, you know.
In a chair recording your motherfucking ass. Whatever you doing, he taking it back up to the Heavenly Father and showing him. You know what I'm saying? Ain't gonna be no hiding and oh, I was doing this and doing that. That's why when you I think it's in the book of Matthew, but it goes into how Jake, they gonna be like, Lord, didn't we prophesy and we cast out
prophesied in your name?
You gonna have Jake. Yeah, you're doing shit on the outside, but behind closed doors, bro, you wasn't doing what you needed to do. And that's, I remember the elder from Mississippi. I forgot what the brother name was, but the brother said that in that time it's gonna be known who was taking truth serious and who was just a bullshit artist. Because like I said, you can fool the eyes of men on the camera, but you can't fool the Lord, bro. And your light, and I was touching up on the light shining, your light is not gonna shine, bro.
You're gonna be dim. You're gonna be in the dark.
Dim. It's gonna be dim as hell.
You know, we can close out with this one right here. It's the book of 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 10, and it reads, wherefore, the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. For if ye do these things, ye shall never fall. For so an entrance shall be ministered unto you abundantly into the everlasting kingdom of our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. You know, so the point is in verse 10, wherefore, the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. For if ye do these things, ye shall never fall. And ye shall never fall from what? From these times that we're coming into, man. You know, these dark days. Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7, man. A time that has never been like it was before on earth, man. You got anything else to say, Ak?
Yeah, make your calling and election sure. You know, move as carry yourself with the attributes that an elect member would have, bro. Conduct yourself as an elect member would. All right, you know that. This is the spirit I put myself in. What do you think the disciples would be doing, bro? Wasn't the disciples, they was soaking up knowledge from Yahweh Shai, right? We got to do that same thing. Soak up the knowledge, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because we all disciples of Yahweh Bashem Yahshai. You know what I mean? He has left us the comforter, and he has raised up teachers for us to get built up in this knowledge. You know what I mean? So make your calling and election sure, Jake. Make sure that you doing things that an elect member would do.
And then, hey, I got a precept to back the brother up. We can close out with this one. This is the book of Ephesians, or we'll talk about it a little bit more. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 22 through 24. That ye put off concerning the former conversation, the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind, And that ye put on the new man, which after Yahweh is created in righteousness and true holiness, man.
Right. Put on the helmet of salvation. Your
Yup.
thoughts are gonna become different should become different when you come into the truth. Your mind shouldn't be focused on the same shit as it was in the world. Because when you come into this truth, you basically you get renewed, bro. You know, you get woken up. You know what I mean? And you get woken up to all the bullshit. You know what I mean? If you could read that over again one more time.
Come. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 22, that ye put off concerning the former conversation, the old man, which is corrupt.
The former conversation, the shit that, not even just talking about the shit that you used to talk about, the shit you used to think about, the ways that you used to live by, how you used to conduct yourself. You're supposed to put all that off and do what? Go ahead, bro.
And be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and that ye put on the new man, which after Yahweh is created in righteousness and true holiness.
Right. So what this just made me think about through the spirit was the new man that Simon Peter and his brother had became. They were fishermen, right? And then once they received that calling, they were renewed through the spirit. They became new creatures. Their mind was solely focused on the kingdom. That's how your mind has to be wired, bro. Your mind has to be focused on the kingdom, which is going to allow you to move as such. You're going to be learning. You know what I mean? You're going to be watching less than occupied in prophecy. You're going to be correcting yourself. Self-examination. You're going to be doing all of that, man. You know what I mean? Is there some more on that?
Nah, that's it right there.
Okay.
You know, hey, but with that, you know, we hope, you know, this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect, man. You know, keep pushing the faith. You know, hey, keep your hand on that plow, man. Speaking to myself first and foremost, man. You know, but with that, we like to turn to the east. We hope this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect. We like to give all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kakwadash. Shalom Akim, Abba Ba.